Apple is starting to up their game in AI animation. Today, in my research, I came across a paper from Apple and their researchers that get them into animation with AI tools, right along with Runway and Pika. From this paper, it looks pretty cool too. This tool is called Keyframer, and it's about to change the way you think about animation and design. Let's get into it. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Ben Silverman, and my main focus is to make AI more accessible for creative people, to allow them to focus on their superpowers, and not the repetitive, mundane tasks it takes them to finally get to work on being creative. I've created my AI toolbox that will hopefully allow everyone to onboard to these tools and the latest updates in AI and tech news quicker than I did, and it acts like my second brain. If I learn something, you have everything too. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to the page if you find any of these videos helpful. I'd really appreciate it. Now, Keyframer is a groundbreaking tool developed by the researchers at Apple. Now, it's designed to make animation more accessible and intuitive than ever before. Using the power of large language models, or LLMs, Keyframer lets you animate static images simply by describing what it is that you want it to do in natural language. But first, let's talk about why Keyframer is such a game changer. Animation has always been a complex field, requiring a mix of artistic skill and technical know-how. Describing motion and bringing static images to life isn't easy, and it often involves a steep learning curve. That's where Keyframer comes in. It bridges the gap, allowing both novices and experts to explore animation in ways that were previously impossible. So how does it work? Imagine if you have an SVG image that you want to animate. With Keyframer, you simply describe the animation you envision using natural language. In their paper, they give two images right here. One is an image of Saturn with its rings right around here, and you see the stars and the blue background with the clouds. And the other is a rocket ship with a moon and clouds and smoke coming from the bottom of it. Now, Keyframer will break down all of these pieces in each scene and separate them out. So if you want the ring, or if you want the actual planet, or the stars to twinkle, or smoke to come out of the bottom, basically, it's already separated it all out. You're just gonna basically be able to say, I want the stars to twinkle in the background, or I want the clouds to wiggle, or I want the moon to move further away, and animate on thank you, right? Now, the team behind Keyframer didn't just build this tool in a vacuum. They conducted interviews with professional designers and engineers. They even ran a study to see how people would use Keyframer in real-world scenarios. The feedback was incredibly positive, highlighting how Keyframer empowers users to focus on high-level design and explore creative possibilities. Now, in the study, most users use the idea of decomposed prompting. So if you look right here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, decomposed prompting talks about each little aspect, like fade in and out the 9 specks, change colors of 9 specks to hot pink, rotate the ring quickly around Saturn, emphasize movement of the ring around Saturn. So each one of these are simple single things that they want to animate versus what we're becoming more used to in the holistic prompting strategy, which right here it says make the rocket rise up for a second and go off screen at the top while making the exhaust decrease opacity to 0, while moving the clouds downward and reducing their opacity to 0 before they go off screen at the bottom. Now, what they talk about in their research is that by doing it in the holistic way, one thing might take strength over another, and this might happen more heavily than that might happen, versus I want this to happen, and then I want this to happen, and I want this to happen. In the study, some used high specificity like this. So what they meant by it is for each of the specs, animate them pulsing between 85% and 115% of their current size. Each pulse should take between 0.5 and 1.5 seconds. Obviously, an animator would know exactly what they need, and somebody working in After Effects would know percentages and how they would want things to move, versus low specificity, where it says move the rocket, exhaust, and clouds from the bottom to the top of the screen. Now give me 3 designs where it wiggles. One of the coolest things about Keyframer is the ability for you to iterate on your designs. You're not just stuck with the first thing that it generates. You can keep refining, experimenting, and asking for design variants. This iterative process is the key to creative exploration and finding the perfect animation. Now, one thing that they talk about is right here. Now, give me 3 designs where the clouds wiggle, and it will generate you 3 different ideas of what that means and how it interpreted that idea. You are able to choose the ones that you like. But it doesn't stop there. Keyframer provides a code editor and properties editor, allowing you to refine and iterate on the generative animation that you received. Now, this means you can dive in and tweak the animation to your heart's content. Keyframer represents just the beginning of how LLMs can transform the creative process by making animation more accessible. Now, if you think about the way you work in, say, After Effects, you are able to get in and really hone in on every single thing that you want to do. If I understand it correctly, it seems like they might even be creating an interface for you to do that. Now, the question is, will they be wanting you to come to their tool instead of After Effects? I'm really curious to see how this comes together, because that is a pretty huge thing. And it opens up new opportunities for storytelling, advertising, and digital content creation. Now, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I do also understand that a lot of people in this business could be a little nervous or scared with the fact of this announcement, because I used to have my own motion design and VFX studio that does a lot of this specific thing. And if you can do this just by talking to it, a lot of people just did that for their jobs. So I do understand why they would hesitate and they would be a little nervous. So we'll see where this goes, and I'll keep you updated. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video if you find it interesting. And as they make more updates to Keyframer, I'm going to keep telling you. And as soon as I can get my hands on it, I'm going to be playing with it. So hopefully you will be too.